Hi everybody and welcome to episode 6 of the Whatnot podcast. My name's Kathy and this is Rusty. He's our Arab bull. I don't know if he's going to look around this way. Rusty! No. So we've had Rusty since the 1st of January and he is a beautiful dog. He's a pet rescue and he appealed to us because the description on it said snoozy and cruisy, and he's definitely that, aren't you, mate? So that's the whole gang, and when you can hear the big hefty bark, that's this guy. But as a general rule, he likes to sleep on the couch, don't you, mate? Okay, off you go. Good boy. And that's probably where he's headed now. Alright, so as I said, my name's Kathy and this is episode 6 of the Whatnot podcast, and I am a disabled maker. I'm an incomplete quadriplegic after a car accident in 2007. But I don't let that stop me, so that's why I'm here with all the crafty goodness to share with all of you. And as always, I'd like to start my podcast off with a special thank you. And my thank you this week goes to Kevin and Ray from Needles at the Ready, who gave me a really nice shout out on their podcast last week. They have a great podcast. They bounce off each other really well. They have a very chatty podcast where you could be doing something else and listening to them in the background, and it's actually quite good because Kevin is an experienced knitter, Ray is new to the game, and it's interesting to hear the perspective from the different points of view when dealing with yarn, patterns and that sort of thing. So if you haven't checked Kevin and Ray out, head over to Needles at the Ready and see what you think. But thanks guys, thanks so much. Alright, so the weather's turned a bit nasty here in Queensland. It rained all day yesterday, so there was no pool physio for me, but maybe today it's cleared up a little bit, we will see. Even though it's raining, it's still warm. I mean, it's autumn here, so it is what it is. Alright. So let's get into the finished objects, and my big finished object this week is my Lovebirds sweater, and everybody can breathe a sigh of relief because I did put this bad boy in the dryer and it shrunk beautifully. So this is it. It's all finished. Ends are woven in. The only thing I've got to do is sew in my little tag at the back here so I know the back from the front, although there are short rows at the top and the bottom. When I finished knitting this and blocked it and tried it on, I reckon it would be going close to 3.5 sizes too big for me. So I said to my husband, just chuck it in the dryer, let's see what happens. And we put it in for 10 minutes, set the timer, and I reckon that the first time it shrunk by about 2 sizes, and then we put it in for another 6 minutes and then another 6 minutes. And it's oversized on me, but definitely wearable. This yarn blocked out so nice, really nice. I mean, I don't want to put tickets on myself or anything, but I'm looking at this and I'm thinking this looks like a store-bought jumper. But anyway, I'll show you up close with the stitches. They all blocked out nicely. If you've watched the earlier podcasts, you know I was a bit worried about the little birds. But as you can see, they've all blocked out really nicely. The yarn is so soft. Even on the grey section here, if you have a look at the stitch definition, yeah, I mean, oh, there's a dog here, but if you put that aside, the stitch definition came out so nicely. And the only thing is I did do the helical knitting on the body, and just on this section, just on this side here, I feel like there's a bit of a line, but I don't think it's really going to matter all that much. But I'm really happy with it. The other thing I will say is I did get gauge on this, so I'm not quite sure A, why it turned out so big, or B, I bought the amount of wool that was recommended, and I barely started on this ball. It was really just to do the final little finishing touches on the sleeve, and I've still got another whole skein left. So I'm really not sure what happened there. With the Archangel, that's all I had left. Just that tiny little bit. So I was pretty happy with that, but I don't know what I'm going to do with the rest of it. But yep, finished object, very happy with that. And if I knit it again, some of the things that I would change on it would be, the neckline is quite big. I would do either smaller needles or less stitches around the neckline. Still wearable, but it is quite a big neckline. And I think the other thing is, even though, you know, this is hearts, the little birds, the X's and O's, I think that if I had done them in more of a solid, they would be a little bit clearer. Like instead of this variegated colour, even though I love it and it's beautiful, I think if it had been more in a solid colour, the definition of the individual emblems would be more visible. But again, I'm quite happy with that, and one of these days when the weather cools down here in a sunny Queensland, I might actually get to wear it. Alright, now the next thing that I will show you is my watercolour, and again, if you follow me on Instagram you've seen this, but what I tried to do with this watercolour was show you a few different techniques. So this was the picture I created. A couple of dandelions with the seed pods just blowing in the breeze there. And I used the masking fluid and the white ink to highlight. So just to show a few different techniques for those of you that are trying your hand at the watercolour. So the masking fluid that I used was this one. But you can use any masking fluid, and it does, you can get masking fluid in a pen form, which I believe is easier to apply, but I had no trouble with that, and I will use it again. And new to me product was this white ink, which I'd seen other watercolour artists using on their channel that I've been watching, and so I hunted it down and I got myself some. So this is a white ink, so it's a bleed proof white ink, and it really, because sometimes when you're putting white in watercolour, you're mixing it with water, it absorbs into the paper, it becomes transparent, like it has that white halo to it, but it becomes transparent. Whereas if you use the white ink, you do get that solid, definite white colour. It's really good if you're doing eyes and you want that little white sparkle in the eyes and things like that. But yep, that was my finished object, and I was happy to try a few different techniques in that. And I'll be doing another one next week. Alright, so that brings me on. I might actually, I have got another finished object, but because I'm talking about the watercolours, I'm going to talk about the giveaway. So if you follow me on Instagram, you know that I have got my 200 subscribers. Yay! And the other good news is that I have to tell you, the podcast that went up last time, I edited it and uploaded it all by myself. I felt like it was an actual miracle, but I did do it, so I feel like I can only get better from there. I feel like my brain has grown a lot in the last few months, trying to wrap my head around, doing a lot of tutorials on how to get my camera set up the way it needs to. Oh, the sun just came out super bright after I just said I got the camera settings all right, but I think it'll go back in again shortly because it is a bit overcast. But I might just, no, there it goes. I was going to put the blind down a little bit. Anyway, so with my 200 subscribers, I am doing a giveaway, and this is a watercolour that I painted earlier, and I will be sending this off to anyone anywhere in the world who wants to put in for this. I have dyed up a little skein of mini skein that I think goes quite nicely with it, so that will be part of the giveaway. And I've also made a little stitch marker. Let me see if I can hold this, with some red flowers on it to go with the whole theme. So, what do you need to do to win this? If you are interested in winning this, just leave a comment below, and in your comment somewhere use the word watercolour, and I will go through all the comments and put them in a random draw, and I will be announcing the winner of this little prize package on my next podcast in 2 weeks' time. So get on it, share it, comment, and don't forget, use the word watercolour in your comment and you'll be in the running for that fantastic prize. All right, so the other thing that I made this week, because I've been doing a bit of sewing. I've never really been a big sewer, but lately I've been getting into it and been downloading a few patterns and giving it a try. So one of the ones that I've downloaded recently is a pincushion, because I watch So Ray Me's vlogs on, she's in the UK, and she does a lot of sewing, and when she shows herself sitting at the sewing machine, she's got this dirty great big pincushion next to her, and I thought, I want a big pincushion like that. So I started looking around to see if I could find one to buy, and they're all very small and I want a big one. So I downloaded a pattern, and once I had the pattern, I basically doubled the size of it. So I'm just, where are my glasses? Let me just have a look. So the pattern is on Etsy, and it's a pincushion by Arabesque Scissors, and she is Ellie, and she's in Adelaide, but I will link it below. And so, as I say, I just doubled the size, and this is what I ended up with, this huge, humongous pincushion. It's got the fabric on the bottom that's slightly quilted, and I've done a little iron-on picture there. I asked my husband to pick me up some nice pins, and he got me these little love heart ones, so that's kind of cute. And I've filled it with a bit of rice, so it's got a little bit of heft to it. And yeah, I really like it. I like it a lot. The pattern was so easy to follow. It was easy for me to adjust to make it a big one. So as I say, I doubled the size of the pattern. So the original is probably about as big as a quarter of that once it's all made up. And these were just fabrics that I had in my stash. And as I say, this is just a little iron-on. She actually had fabric in the middle that had a nice little picture on it, but and I've put my little Whatnot logo on it there. So I was very happy with that, and once I finished that guy, I mean, I was actually pretty impressed with these curved bits because I've never done anything like that, and I thought they turned out pretty good. So yeah, so that was good. And then once I'd made that, because I'd made the mama one, I always have to make a little one for my baby girl, Mill, so because she does a little bit of sewing here and there, and she's got like a much smaller desk area than I've got, so I did make her a little tiny one. This one is still bigger than the pattern. I made this half an inch bigger than the pattern called for. So as you can see, if I hold these together, the pattern is quite a small pin cushion with the adjustments that I've made. Once you've got the pattern, you can make it whatever size you want, really. But I just used a little bit, again, used my fabrics that I had in my stash. So a little bit of brown tartan, and that is also just a little iron-on patch that I picked up at Spotlight, and it's got the two little kitty cats on it because Mill loves cats, and she's got a little black and white one and a ginger one, and I've put the floral on the back, and it does have rice in it. Again, this one has the rice in it, so I will send that off to her. But yeah, I was pretty happy with that. So let me just check, that is all my finished objects. The Lovebirds sweater was by Kate Oats, so I'll have that linked in the bottom notes there, and I think that's everything. I was just noticing my nails are a little bit dirty because this morning I was making some marinated chicken, and some of the marinade has stained my fingers, so sorry about that. Alright, now for my whips, I've got my Ranunculus, which I've got here. I'm powering through it. I've divided for the sleeves, and I am now heading down the body. So I'll be expecting to have this pretty close, if not finished, by the next time I podcast. It's on big needles and it's knitting up really quickly, so that's what I've got. I love the colour of it. The nettle yarn is beautiful, and I will tell you, I haven't bought it, but I've been on the site thinking, oh, what other colours do they have? But a lot of the ones that were there when I bought this have sold out. A lot of the other colours, they had a really nice a colour called licorice that was like a not black, but it had like a purpley tinge to it that was really nice, but that was sold out. But yep, I am powering through it. I'm very happy with it. I like how it looks. I think I will get a lot of wear out of this because it is the nettle yarn. It's going to be cool to wear. I'm going to do the short sleeved version, and I don't know if you can see, but it's got a lovely halo on it. A really nice halo that almost looks like I've held a strand of mohair with it. But as I've shown you before, the wool that I am holding with it is just 100% wool with the nettle yarn, neither of which have got, that's got a slight halo on it, but the nettle yarn I think is what's giving it the mohairy look. So I'm really happy with this mohair yarn. With this nettle yarn, I would definitely use it again, and I would definitely recommend it. So yeah, I'm expecting to have that pretty close to finished. So that's that. down there. So the other item that I've been working on is my Northeasterly. I've got a bit of dog hair on my face from when Rusty was here, and now it's making me a little bit itchy. Ugh. I have got poor Ralph and Buddy are in what I call the hole, which is a little caged area I've got outside my kitchen door, because I have somebody come into the house and help me, although Charmaine is not frightened of the dogs at all. As part of the work, occupational health and safety, you are required to have your dogs locked up. So my husband built this little caged area, and I normally put them in there so they're not getting under Charmaine's feet when she's here helping me. But yes, they generally only go in there on Monday and Thursday, so they're like, why are we going in the hole today? But I told them it wasn't for too long, so I'm hoping that that will prevent them from barking this episode. We will see. Anyway, this is my Northeasterly, and I've got the cream section, the cream row almost done. I was madly trying to finish it for this episode, but didn't quite make it there. I've got that tiny little bit to go, and that won't take me very long at all. So the next thing I had to do was decide on the next colour. I will tell you that I followed the pattern basically. I don't know what size needles they recommend you use, but the size needles that I'm using are a 2.25 millimeter needles for this blanket, and the join method that I have used creates this little stitch down the back, and it is the method that the Happy Knitting podcast, Julia from the Happy Knitting podcast, had recommended on when she was making this particular blanket. So I quite like that little detail of the twist at the back, and I thought, well, I'll do that as well. And as you're knitting, it seems to run quite smoothly to do the join. I think it looks quite neat and smooth. So this yarn here is Louley Yarn. She's a dyer that does this self-striping sock yarn here in Australia, and as you will see shortly, I love their yarn. I have got a few skeins here that I've purchased over the last few weeks. She does a shop update nearly every Saturday, and I live in terror because I know I'm not going to be able to resist. But these are the ones that I've bought recently. Let's see if I can hold this up. Oh, these lovelies, so beautiful. So lovely. So I'm going to be using these in my blanket, and I'm trying to decide which colour to do next. I want to do a brownie toned one, and it's going to be out of these two, I've decided. I'm leaning towards this one, I'm thinking, because this one's got a little bit of the red in it, well, it's not red, but it's got that warmer colour like I've just done. So I'm thinking that colour is what I'm going to go for. But I mean, I might change my mind and it might be this one. You will see on the next podcast, because I will have started it to see which one I went for. But I mean, they're all beautiful. They do a lovely job. I think, considering this is self-striping yarn, and I wouldn't even attempt to do this kind of self-striping yarn myself, I think the price is reasonable, the postage is reasonable. So I will link their Etsy store down below. I think they've only got 2 balls of the self-striping in their shop at the moment, but if you're interested, and the yarn knits up beautifully. It's a 75% merino, 25% nylon, and there's 400 meters in each. So yeah, Deb and Louise, you guys do an amazing job, and I totally love the yarn. I just want to show you this one. How nice is this one? It's got the pinks, yellows, greens, purples. Yep. So I am looking forward to starting the coloured stripe on my Northeasterly. I just try to do a section each morning, so I'll knit from the beginning of a red to the top of the next red. That's what I've been doing, and when I start knitting in the next colour, I'll just see how the colours fall, and I'll play a similar sort of mind game with myself, no doubt, because that's what I do. But that's really good. I had to take Buddy to the vet yesterday, and with the new safe distancing issues at the moment, PS, hope you're all staying safe and well. The vet asks you that when you get there, you ring them, you tell them that you've arrived, and they come out to the car and retrieve the animal, take your dog in, you remain in the car, then they come back out, have a little distance discussion with you about what the situation is, and then you have to swipe. They bring the FPOS out to pay. And I tell you what, yesterday was the cheapest vet visit I've ever had. It was only $18 because I was getting, Buddy's got a lump on the side of him that I was a bit worried about, and he's got some dental issues, but they are going to take him in next Thursday and he'll be gone for the whole day, which is not so good, and that's definitely not going to be $18, and he's going to have his dental done and he's having that little lump removed, so I hope that's nothing serious. Anyway, little side note there. Don't know where I was going with that, but anyway, now what else have I got that I'm working on? All right, my Ennui. Getting all my stretching yoga exercises done today. All right, so I did a little bit more on this. I will say that most of my time in the last 2 weeks I've just been powering through that jumper. I really wanted to get it finished. I'm over it. I'm thinking about my next things, and I wanted to get it done. So I'm so glad it's done. But I did get another couple of sections on this done. I put one of my little progress keepers where I showed you last time. So as you can see, I've done the next lace section, I've done the next garter section, and I've done the next peachy garter section. I think this is going to block out. Like once it's blocked out, you can really see that pattern. It will look super nice. I can't really get a good grip on it to spread it out too much, but I think that the colours look really pretty together. I think it will, I hope it's not washing out a bit too much on the camera, but I think that it would be a nice little summer, sort of this time of year when it's cooling down a bit, but I think the colours bounce off each other really well, and it's really soft and squishy, and it's mindless knitting, so it's really, even the lace section is not difficult at all. There is a slight stitch in there which I won't reveal, but there is a stitch in there that I had to actually look up on YouTube, but once you've looked it up and you sort of get the idea of how it's done, it's no problem. And that stitch creates that middle panel there of the point of that little diamond, that little triangle. But no, I'm really enjoying that. The rows are obviously getting longer and longer, as they do on these kind of shawls, and I am using, there is a bit of ends to be woven in, but I'm using a technique where you weave the ends in as you go. It's the first time I've used that, and I'm not feeling 100% confident that they won't unravel, so I haven't cut them off. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to wash and block the shawl, and if I'm still worried, I'm just going to quickly thread them back through one more time and then snip them off. But they are woven in at this point. Yeah, but I'll see how I go with that and make a decision after I've washed and blocked it. So I'll keep going on that, and I expect to have another good chunk of that done by the time I podcast next. So that's done. He can go down there. And the final thing that I have been working on is my cross stitch, which is the this kit that I bought, which I showed you a couple of episodes ago when I got it. And I have been working on that a little bit each day. I will say that I am finding, as I get older, when I was younger, I used to do a lot of cross stitch. I had no problems, but now that I'm over 50, I feel like my eyes have really deteriorated a lot, and I am finding it quite difficult on this linen to work out where I'm putting the needle, even with my glasses on. Once the restrictions are over and I can get down to spotlight, I'm actually thinking about getting one of those. If I do some more of this sort of thing, getting one of those magnifying lenses that you actually look through, because yeah, I'm at some stages I'm really struggling with it, but I am getting there. And I've got my 3 little foxes now, plus this is the edge, the border that's going in here, and I did stuff it up because I should be embroidering it this way. But by the time I realised I'd done a bit, and I just thought, I'm not unpicking that. And I have measured it, and it will fit across this way, but as you can see, it's not going to leave much room. My thoughts for this when I'm finished are either one of two things. I thought I might make it into a project bag and use this as sort of a front panel on it, or I will attach it to a canvas and hang it on my wall. But either way, I feel like I can manage with, even if I have to sew a little panel of fabric on the edge there to give me a little bit of extra room to play with. But yeah, I'm getting through with that. I like it, and I just wish I could see it a bit better. Old girl problems. But I will do some more on that. Now, I am going to leave it there because Mel is joining us again this week, and I will let her take over and tell us what she's up to and what she's been making. And when I come back, we will talk about what is up and coming for me and what I'm planning on making next. All right, over to you, Mel.
Hello YouTube, and welcome to my portion of this podcast. Thanks for having me, whatnot, again, and thanks for everyone's lovely comments last time when I was on the podcast. I really appreciated it, and I'm glad that you liked my little segment. Hopefully you'll like this one too. I wanted to say hello. This is Pinks. This is one of my dogs. She's a little bit shy of being on the internet, and she's so cute, but she also wants to go for a walk right now, so she's like, hurry up with this podcast and take me for a walk, because she is a plus size athlete and she likes to go for walks, and she's very loving, as you can see. She likes to give kisses, and she's just a really sweet little dog. I just wanted to say, I didn't say last week, but I thought I'd mention this week that all of my dogs are rescue animals, and they are all from the RSPCA. The reason that I wanted to mention that is because that's something that's really important to me and to my partner Beck. We are both very interested in animal rights and animal welfare, and we are very sort of strong feeling, I guess, about getting rescue animals as opposed to buying animals from breeders. So Pinks is from the RSPCA. She's about 12 years old, and actually my partner Beck had her before we met, and I think we've been together for about 7 years now, just over 7 years. So I've known Pinks for a long time, and she's definitely an important part of our family. Definitely the sweetest of all our animals, and the most nicest and sort of chill of all our animals. But I will say that when she was at the shelter, unfortunately, before Beck adopted her, she was returned a lot because she kept running away from the homes that she was sent to. So I think what some people don't understand is that little dogs need exercise. So a lot of people think that, you know, little dogs can just like run around in the backyard and they'll be happy enough with that as their exercise. But Pinks is an adventure dog, and she likes to go for walks. She likes to go for long walks every day. And she is a little fatty, join the club, but it doesn't stop her from wanting to go for walks. She's very active, and I think, the homes that she was going to maybe didn't expect that of her. Maybe they thought that she was just a little round lap dog, and that was why she was escaping all the time, because she was bored, and she wanted some exercise. So she gets 2 walks a day, sometimes more, with us, and she loves it, and she's never run away. So far so good. I think she's pretty happy here. What do you think? Good girl. All right, so that's Pinks. And maybe next week you'll get to meet Maxie, who's our third and largest rescue dog. So there's a couple of things that I wanted to show you this week on the theme of sort of rescue animals and all that jazz. I wanted to show you that I had started making something from the book Mum sent me, The Animal Friends of Kpahnbhar, which is a super cute book, which I showed last week, but I'll also just stick up here for those of you who haven't seen it before. So I started making this, which is Hugo the Bat, and this is the head and the body. And I actually thought that he was going to be like about this big, but because I'm like terrible at reading instructions and I didn't read the part about sizing, he's this big. So quite large, but that's cool. I'm actually happy. At first I was like, oh, that's a bit too big, but no, I'm happy with that. And so I am, as you can see, like I've done the head, the body, and the snout, and now I'm just working on the wings. And the ears would be after that, and then he also has a little scarf and no arms because he has wings, but he has a little scarf with some pom-poms. So that's what I'm working on right now, and I'm really happy with it, how it's turning out, and I think it's super cute. And I've been seeing a lot of stuff online, especially over the last couple of weeks, about people maybe who don't quite understand, or who haven't taken the time to understand about bats and the part that they may or may not have played in the COVID virus. Basically, no one animal, just like no one race, is responsible for this virus. You know, it's a virus. It's just, it is what it is. Just like the flu, you know, no one person's responsible for that. No one country or no one animal or anything. It's just, it's a virus that goes around, and that's what's happened. But unfortunately, there are some people that I've noticed online that have been saying, you know, that the virus is the fault of bats, and that, you know, it came from bats and it's transmitted by bats to humans, and so for that reason bats are bad, or that, you know, bats should be culled or something like that. I don't believe that, and I don't think that really that's very scientifically accurate either. Obviously people can, you know, people have the right to sort of say what they want on social media, but I do think they should be careful about making sure that they are saying factually accurate things, because, you know, social media posts spread really quickly and easily. So for that reason, I decided that when I finish Hugo, I'm going to put him up for auction. So I'm not sure which platform I'll use. I mean, I know obviously eBay's an auction site, but I'm not too keen to use eBay because of their fees and all that sort of thing. So if anyone knows of a good auction site or a way that you can host an online auction that's free and easy and accessible for people, just please let me know. But I'm thinking that what I'll do is I'll put Hugo up for auction, and then whatever he goes for, I decided that I will donate that full amount of money to the Fly By Night Bat Clinic, which is what it sounds like. It's a bat clinic. They're basically a bat rescue that is based in Melbourne, where I live in Australia. So yeah, if you're interested in maybe bidding on Hugo, or just want to see how he turns out, then head on over to my social media. That'll be in the show notes, and yeah, you can see how all that goes. Hopefully I'll raise a little bit of money for the bat rescue, and hopefully promote a little bit of awareness about the fact that we're not all in lockdown because of bats. Okay, so aside from that, I wanted to show you this beautiful yarn that I got, and that's not showing up super well. I bought this from Mum in her shop, and she's very kindly also balled it up for me. And this is going to be a jumper for a little baby. So I think I spoke about my friend Nicole last week, or whenever we last did the podcast, and her little baby is turning 1 in May, June. Obviously I'm no fairy godmother here, but May or June, and so her little one's turning 1, and I'm making her a little jumper. So I'm going to be making a using the popcorn stitch, a crochet jumper, and I am thinking about crocheting in one strand of this and one strand of mohair. So I have actually gone online and bought some mohair. I don't normally work with natural fibers in terms of animal fibers, because I try and keep my crochet vegan, but because it is for a baby and it's going to get a lot of wear, I wanted to make sure that it was going to be soft and it was going to be durable, and that it would last a long time. So excuse me. Too much talking. So yeah, this is a special one-off sort of thing that I'm making for baby Harriet. And I will show you that when it's done. I have started it, but I might frog it and start again with the mohair. We'll see. Anyway, next time you'll find out more about that. Just checking my show notes. Okay, so the next thing that I wanted to talk about is my podcast recommendation for this week. Last week I talked about True Crime Brewery, and I love those guys. They're definitely my favorite. But this week I wanted to talk about something just a little bit different. So not true, well, they do have some episodes that are true crime related, but not totally true crime related. It's a podcast called You're Wrong About, and this is a podcast that was recommended to me by a friend at my work, and she said that she thought I would like it, and I love it. So I've listened to a number of their episodes this week, but if you're at all interested, I would highly recommend their episode on Tonya Harding. So the premise of the podcast is to talk about not necessarily historical inaccuracies, but things that happened in the past that maybe as a society we don't know the full story about. So I think one of the hosts of the podcast, so there's two people that host the podcast, and one of the hosts is a journalist who writes a lot about maligned women or historical figures who have been painted in a certain way, and maybe that's not quite what they were like. So I'm trying to sort of tiptoe around it because I don't want to give too much away, but I think we can all agree that the Tonya Harding story is something that everyone knows about, and it's also something that a lot of people have strong opinions about, and some people don't know the full story, so it's a good episode to start with. They also have an episode about Anna Nicole Smith. Sorry, Jessica Simpson. Anna Nicole Smith. So for any of you who know Anna Nicole Smith, another kind of like divisive figure, I guess. And I'm kind of halfway through that episode, and it's pretty like devastating, but also very interesting, the way that society perceive a certain situation because of factors that maybe are presented in the media or other ways to people, and people make a decision about a situation that maybe they don't have all the facts for. So it's a very interesting podcast. Like I said, it's called You're Wrong About. I'm listening to it on Spotify, but you can get it on other platforms as well, and I'll link them in the show notes if you're interested. If you do go listen to any of the episodes, let me know. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on it. Now, finally, my last bit of exciting news is that Katika, my favourite crochet artist, as mentioned in the previous episode, has finished the commission portrait that I requested or purchased of my partner Beck. So I'm going to put the photo here, and this is the photo of Beck that I sent to Katika, and she was going to crochet this as part of her ISO gallery, I guess. She's doing like an online or virtual gallery of isolation portraits. So this is the photo I sent, and this is the final crochet piece. Amazing, right? It really is amazing. I love it. I got the email when I was sort of half asleep, and I just like checked my emails before I went to bed, and I was immediately like wide awake and like just thought it was so beautiful, and like actually woke up Beck and was like, look at this, it's so good. So yeah, I absolutely love it. I can't wait to get it framed. So she sent me a large high-res version of it, and I have organized to have it framed, and it hopefully will be delivered, or it'll be delivered within 21 days. So as soon as I get it, I'll show you. But yeah, I'm really excited. I really love it. I think she's done an amazing job. Yeah, go check her out. All right, guys, that's it from me. Thanks for having me. It's great to take part, and thanks to Mum for letting me join in. If you've got any questions or comments, let me know. I'll keep an eye, and I love chatting with you guys as well. So yeah, hit me up. All right, thanks. Bye.
All right, well, I hope you enjoyed that. Mil's always got some interesting things to tell us, and she sort of has different interests to me. So I'm hoping that we're covering a few genres with what we're talking about. She doesn't do a whole lot of actual painting, definitely doesn't do knitting, so I think that with what Mil does, she does a lot of graphic art on her tablet, and the crochet, of course, which I don't crochet, but yeah, and she listens to a lot of podcasts and things like that. When I'm working, I tend to listen to music. I do have a few Audible books that I listen to, but my preference is to just have a little bit of indie music on in the background, which I like. Alright, so what am I going to do next? Now, I had a couple of thoughts. After seeing Lindsay's beautiful Whitmore sweater, I was thinking that I would make that. And I actually dyed some yarn up with that in mind, and this is what I've dyed up, which is a lovely sort of soft pink with, it's got a few speckles of some deeper maroons and burgundies in it. And I was thinking about the Whitmore, but as I've come to the end of the Lovebirds sweater, I kind of started thinking about other things. I kind of lost interest in that. So I'll just get my book because I've written down a few things here. I've got a couple of jumpers in mind, and one of them is called the Linden Ladies jumper by VikTORYa Petrichenko. These names, guys, I am really sorry because I know I've butchered that, but I will link it in the notes below, and I will insert a picture here of the jumper. So I'm thinking about this one. Now, if I did do this one, I will be leaving the bobbles off it. I don't really like the bobbles underneath those diamantes, and she's done hers in the pink and the cream. I will be knitting it all in one colour if I do this one. My other choice is called the Eyelet by Fjalland knitwear, and that is this jumper. So I quite like that. I really like the neckline on this jumper, and just the, you know, sort of the classic detail on the raglan. I quite like that whole look. I'm not sure whether this yarn and that pattern go together. I need to think about it a little bit more. So there's that one. And the final one on my list of potentials is called Winter Song by Mona C. NicLeòid. Again, I hope I've said that right. And this is one that's been on my list for a little while. I like the little button-up detail with the subtle lace section at the top. The t-shirt style of it I quite like. This yarn that is my yarn, and it is a 50% bamboo, 50% wool. So it feels cool to touch, and it's cooler to wear than the 100% wool. So I think that it's a garment that I could get some use out of. So yeah, they're my three. I haven't decided which one, and I will reveal all on the next podcast as to which one I went with. So I'm going to work on my Ranunculus, get that one out of the way. I have told Mel, I knit her an Ursula last year, an Ursula last year, Ursula, can't remember. And I have got the wool to knit her another one in a deep burgundy colour, so maybe I'll go with that. But I'll see. I'm going to think about it. But what I am definitely going to be making, and I have made one of these before, is, and I've already started casting on, so I won't show it to you. I'm going to make another one of these guys. I've made this little dog here, and I've made the cat. So I've marked the ones that I've made to show you. I've made that little guy, so adorable. These patterns are lovely, easy to read, easy to follow, and I'll show you mine's a little girl. And look at her little tail, so cute, so cute. And I put a little rosebud in her hair. and Mill went to a knitting show and she bought me this little brooch, and I thought it sat quite nicely on this jumper, and she's got a little belt on her jeans, super cute, and little ears, and I bought some little black buttons and embroidered the nose with some tapestry cotton that I had. I've used the cotton that is recommended in the pattern. I bought some and used that. And the reason that I made this little girl is because we had a lovely little terrier like Ralph last year, and little Ruby, and I will insert a little picture of my little Roo here. And unfortunately in October she had a little heart attack and we lost her. So to remember her, I made this little Ruby, and that's what I call her. So yep, I love her very much, and she sits in my craft room and watches me. So I've got her, and I knit this one for Mill, but I did hers in black and white. Oh, I can never work out these. Black and white, and I knit a different outfit for her little cat because she's got a cat called Minnie that's black and white. And I'm hoping, Mill and I had a little talk about it, I'm hoping that in her section of the podcast she's shown you her Minnie, and so you've seen what that one looks like. But when I bought all the wool, I bought the wool to do the fox as well. So this is what I am planning on knitting, and I have actually cast the coat on. I've started the coat. The little skirt is in blue, but I might do it in yellow or pink. I haven't decided. Yeah, and I'll be doing the little satchel and everything. But and I might make her some little shoes, and they have little underwear and everything. They're so cute. I will tell you a little secret about it that I've worked out, is that the first one that I made, my little Ruby, I knit it as per the pattern. And I had to, because the pieces are all knit in the flat, I'll show you her leg. You've got to seam up all the seams all the way up on all the pieces. They're all knit in the flat. And when I made Mills, I thought, you know what, I thought, stuff that. I'm knitting it around because I didn't like seaming it. So I cast on as per the pattern and knit the foot up to the ankle on Mills, and then I knit this on circulars all the way, and then just stuff them. And I did the same with the body. Like on this one, the body is knit in a flat, and you seam it up the back. On Mills, I got to a certain point on the body where I realised I could just knit it in the round, and I did that. And it's so much neater, it's so much quicker, and it was still easy to stuff it. And I don't know why she hasn't written the pattern to knit the pieces in the round, because I think it is so much easier. But the bit that I really like is making the little clothes, because something that I've done in the past, I've made a lot of mohair bears, I've done porcelain dolls, I've made rag dolls. I like making the little toys and things like that, the cute stuff. So I will be able to show you a lot more of that little fox on the next podcast, because as I said, I've already cast the coat on and I will keep working on that. But another book by this lady that I've bought, and I haven't made any of these yet, but I've got this one as well. So after I finish the fox, I might do one of these as well. So I think they're so cute. And they're just fun, like they're fun to make, and I feel like the end result is high quality as well. Like you feel like they look quite good quality. There we go. You don't need to see them. Really cute. Look at that little one with the black bunny ears. Yeah, I love that. So that's what else I'll be working on. Let me just check my notes here. Oh, another thing, as I said, with the sewing, like I'm really sort of pottering around looking at patterns and just things that are quick and easy to make. I found a little bean bag that you can sit your iPad in, so I was thinking about making that. And I was online at Spotlight the other day and they're having a bit of a sale on their fat quarters. And I bought this pattern, which I'll insert here, quite a while ago, and I haven't really had the fabric that I felt was suitable for it. So when they had the fat quarters on special, I thought I would buy what I think would look good to make that little bear purse. So that, have I written anything down about that? Yes, I bought that bear purse off Etsy at a store called Story Quilts on Etsy. So yeah, if you're interested in having a look at that. But I picked up these fabrics. I got this one. So it's just a cream with a sort of a dark browny sort of swirl on it. I got this one, which kind of looks like stone a bit. Got a bit of a stone look about it. I got a tartan one. I got this one for a deeper colour, so a timber look, and something with a little bit of a pop of colour. So I got this one, which has got the fishing lures and a little bit of blue and red on it, just to give it a little bit of colour. So I'm hoping to make that little bear purse this week, and I think that those fabrics will look quite nice in that pattern. But while I was at Spotlight, I also picked up, well, while I was online moseying around, I got this one, which I thought was quite nice. I got this one because I noticed in my stash I'm a little bit low on greens. When I was making those pin cushions, I wanted a different colour green on that, but that was all I had. So I was particularly honing in on any of the sort of greeny colours that they had on special. So I got that one and that one. That's got some little cactuses and things like that on it. And then because I just can't resist flowery things, I got that one. So pretty. But the deal on that was 10 fat quarters for $20. And while I was there, while I was moseying around there, they had these on special for half price. So they're normally like $25 for these bundles. And I got this one for $12.50. So I think that sale is still going, and it'll be going till the end of the month. So yeah, if you're interested, you should check it out. But that one's really nice, that one. So I don't know what I'll do with those. Those would probably just go in my stash. All right. I felt like I didn't have much to say, and I've been going on for quite a while now, so I might speed it up a little bit. I'll quickly show you my scrapbooking efforts this week. So I've got my notes there. Look at that raccoon. Looks like he's got a mask on. That little heart, you probably saw that on Instagram if you follow me. Lindsay made them on her last podcast, and I thought I'm going to make one too. So I did. So, what does that say? Let me tell you what that says. You can't buy happiness, but you can buy fabric, and that's pretty close. And this one says, keep looking up, there may be a rainbow waiting for you. And I think we should all remember that at this time while we're all on lockdown and trying to be super duper careful. Alright, right, now a couple of podcasts that I wanted to recommend, or a podcast that I wanted to recommend that I've kind of been binge watching. And the lady's name is Sarah, and she's in the UK, and she's just got a really nice way about her. She approaches her art and craft, I think, in a very innocent way that just seems so appealing. And her channel is called Yarn Mugs, and it's all one word, and I'll link it down below. But if you're not watching Yarn Mugs, Sarah, you should just go and have a look. She's new to the sewing game, as am I really, and she's just taking you through things. If she's made a mistake, like she put one of her jumpers in the dryer and slightly felted it, but she told you how she sort of resolved those issues, and just really the innocent way with which she approaches her art and craft, I really like it. And she's got a very soft and gentle voice, so it's easy to watch her, so I recommend her. The other thing that you might be interested in is Nitty Natty, which I'm sure you all already know her, but she is releasing a yarn cozy pattern on Friday, which I will be definitely buying. I'm really interested to knit a couple of those, and she's offering a 30% discount for the first 2 weeks, so I thought I'd let you all know that the code for that is called Cozy30. So the pattern will be in on Ravelry on Friday, and you can use that to get a discount there. The last thing that I wanted to tell you about was my Etsy seller, and the Etsy website is called Ringlet Stitches, and she's also that on Instagram. She is in Sydney. She's only got 12 sales, and her name is Lordana. So this is what I've purchased from her. It's a little tapestry ring with a piece of Black William Morris fabric, and the fabric is called the Strawberry Thief because that little bird is sitting in a patch of strawberries, pinching them. So the back of it, it's very well made. It's got a silky sheen to it, the fabric. It's really pretty. It's got the brooch on the back of it and a disc, so it's all covered in nicely. It came beautifully packaged with a little note, and the note said, "Thank you so much for your order. I hope you enjoy wearing your new brooch as much as I enjoyed making it." And I will. Thank you, Lordana. I am very happy with it, and I think also, again, as I said on the last podcast with the item that I showed there, this would make a lovely gift. It was $23, including postage, and I think if you were looking for a little gift for somebody, it's a nice easy thing to post and would make a great Christmas present. It would look nice on a shawl if you had a shawl. And I'll just show you one more time. Such a pretty little thing. She's got a few different things in her shop, different fabrics, brooches and necklaces. And the other thing that she makes are little pin cushions. So this size with a little domed area for a pin cushion. So I thought that that was a really nice one, and I was very happy with that purchase. So again, that's Ringlet and Stitches on Instagram and Ringlet and Stitches on Etsy. So that's it. I think that's everything. Don't forget to comment down below with the word watercolour. I'm not going to put in the description or anything that I'm doing a giveaway, because I want one of my genuine watchers to win the prize. And as I say, I'm happy to send international, so if you're overseas and you want to join in, please leave the comment with the word watercolour. Alright, so I hope you're all staying safe and well, and starting to get into a bit of a rhythm with the lockdown and getting a few things done and a few crafty things done and just enjoying your time and your family. And I will see you on the next podcast in 2 weeks. Thanks, guys. Bye.